Woody Wommack here with Mike Farrell for a special midweek edition of Farrell's Picks. We got a full Thursday slate, so we picked our best 5 games to pick. So let's get right into it, Mike. We're going to start out Temple at Rutgers. Rutgers a 14.5-point favorite. That's a big line.
It is a big line, and this is a game that a few years ago would have been the worst game to ever watch. Rutgers is much improved, but I like that 14 and a hook. I'm going to take – no, I'm not. I'm taking Rutgers. They're going to cover the 2 touchdowns because Dwan Mathis is the quarterback at Temple, and I just cannot allow myself to bet on Dwan Mathis. No offense to Dwan Mathis. He's a nice kid, but Rutgers is going to win by 17.
Guess what?
What?
I'm going to pick Temple. I liked one. You know me. I was the biggest.
He's a nice kid, but he's not good.
Look, he was in an unenviable situation last year. They've had a chance to design the offense around him. I think they can keep it within 2 touchdowns, even if it means a garbage TD late.
Okay. 16 teams a charm, correct?
That's right. All right. Next up, Boise State at UCF. This is going to be a good one. I can't believe they put this on Thursday, but it is on ESPN. I wish I was going to the game. The start of the Gus Malzahn era, the start of the Andy Avalos era. Who you got here, Mike?
All right. So this line keeps creeping up a little bit, and there's a lot of money on apparently UCF. I think Boise State will cover. I think UCF wins at the bounce house, but I like Dylan Gabriel. I like the offense. I just hope Gus doesn't put handcuffs on him like he usually does offensively. But I think this will be a field goal game.
Yeah, UCF is loaded. They brought in a ton of transfers. They already had talent on the roster. Like you said, what does the offense look like? This is probably going to be a lot different than last year when with Gabriel's slinging the ball down the field 30, 40, 50 times a game. But I'm going to take the Knights. I think they can win by a touchdown at home. A lot of games last year they should have, blown out, and some conservative coaching by Josh Heupel led to some comebacks. So I'm going to go ahead and take the homer pick and take UCF. So we're split on the first 2, Mike.
Yep, and you're going to win both of them.
Next up, Ohio State at Minnesota. Minnesota getting 2 touchdowns. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with Minnesota because they're at home. It's the opener. Yeah, I know. 2 touchdowns. I don't hope. I mean, I'm not rooting for anybody, but in taking this spread, I would hope they control the clock. I would hope we see a Tanner Morgan who's not awful like last year. Mo Ibrahim, running behind a good offensive line, and Ohio State working out some things. New running backs, new quarterback. You would think Ohio State would win this game by 20, 30, but I just feel that Minnesota is an experienced football team, and they'll either push or keep it within 14.
I am going to take my guy, CJ Stroud. We had a great time hanging out at the QB retreat back in Memorial Day weekend. What a guy. And he was super confident. I think we're going to have a start to the season where you see him talking about, being talked about as the early Heisman guy.
I'll tell you, plus 1,400, Woody, right now. He's plus 1,400 for the Heisman that I saw. I'm definitely putting something on that.
Yeah, I like him out. Now, is Tanner Morgan playing for Minnesota? Because someone told me he was going to be a first-round pick in the 2020
son of a, you know what? Listen, he regressed a little bit. I said he could be a late first-rounder. It was a little bit off, all right? But listen, at the same time, if you'd said Mac Jones would be a first-rounder at the same time, people would have thought you were crazy. This was 2 years ago. Last year, he stunk. He needed more weapons, too. That's the scary part. I mean, I'm baiting it now, and I don't know. Maybe we'll see a resurgence.
All right, the next game up on our sheet, Bowling Green at Tennessee. The Vols 35-point favorites. The line was 35.5, and I'm so mad I didn't grab it. What's your pick here, Mike?
Bowling Green. They're horrible. But Tennessee should never be laying 35 points against anybody. I don't care. This is an unproven team. We got a new coach. Yes, he's going to put up big numbers. Yes, the offense looked great in the spring game. That was clearly the point of the spring game and spring football. But I don't know. Bowling Green scores a touchdown. I think they cover this. I just don't, Tennessee's defense has a lot of holes in it. So I expect Bowling Green to put up at least 10 and keep this within 35.
You mentioned the Vols offense looked great in the spring. Who were they playing against? The Vols defense.
The Vols defense.
So Bowling Green, one of the worst teams in all of FBS last year, but we don't need them to win. We need them to lose by less than 5 touchdowns. Like I said, the 35.5 was, you're talking about 49-14 as a cover and a win. I'm going to take Bowling Green too. I remember the last time they played the Vols, they gave them all sorts of problems in the Butch Jones era, I believe. So they were a little bit better back then. I'm trying to remember who their coach was. Who's the coach at who's the coach at Syracuse? Dino Babers? Was he the coach at Bowling Green?
I don't think so. Dino Babers was I don't know. Listen, that was 100 years ago. I know Dino Babers is horrible at Syracuse. That's all I remember. Bowling Green's awful. I mean, but
yes,
35, Tennessee, 35. That's a lot. Can they even score 35 points? That's my question. They might win 30-0.
You know why you were confused? Dino Babers was the coach at UCF in certain reporters' fantasy. So if you remember
I know he wasn't at UCF.
He went from Bowling Green to Syracuse. Yeah. So he did play
and then he had 10 wins one year, and now they're horrible.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Last but not least, USF traveling up north to NC State. They've got a new starting quarterback, Cade Fortin. What do you think, Mike?
I'm taking NC State. NC State didn't have any really landmark victories last year, but they were a very solid team. Zonovan Knight is a tremendous running back that no one's ever heard of. They have one of the best offensive lines in not only ACC, but in the country. And Devin Leary is back, and if he could stay healthy, I think they could put up points. USF was really, really bad last year. I like Jeff Scott, good guy, but I don't think his team's ready to handle NC State. I think NC State blows them out.
Yeah, I really like Jeff Scott too. I'm a little surprised that the way they went with the quarterback situation, with Cade Fortin winning the job. He's a guy who bounced around a little bit. He was at North Carolina before, right? I think he was committed to Texas A&M. I mean, he was everywhere.
Yeah. It's kind of fun to watch where these kids commit to and land. And I thought Jeff Scott would, land a few higher level recruits, not 4 stars, but just do a little bit better with the roster. And he's still, he's only been there a couple of years, so still got time. But did you watch any USF football last year?
Yeah, just brutal. They were terrible.
Horrible. Just off. I mean, Bowling Green USF would be a push.
All right, that wraps it up for the Thursday picks. We will also have some picks for Friday night and then the big show for Saturday. So be sure to lock in on YouTube. You can also find the picks on Twitter. We'll be rolling them out individually and then as one long video. So bottom line is subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe to the Godfather and Gorney feed on any of your favorite podcast provider. We'll put the audio there as well. All right. Thanks, Mike.
All right. No problem.